Yo, 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 hello, hello. Welcome everyone, welcome everybody to the Friday's Silver Bullet Lone Open party. It's Friday's night. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Hmm. Yep. Good morning, Candy. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. And yeah, I just ate my breakfast, so I'm pretty content with starting the stream. Last day of this week, 3 W's in a row this week, for L's in a row last week. So one more W to even out the score. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, I changed the layout a little bit. I think this looks prettier and it shows my current balance and current stats taken from the dashboard, straight from the dashboard. It's static, but I think it should still do the work, as I'm only taking one trade anyway, so it won't be changing that much. I will be just changing it every time it changes for the next day. So yeah, that's I think about it. And yeah, 10 minutes ahead, so let's start the analysis for today, for today's London Open. So starting with the daily chart, yeah, we are kind of extended to the upside, and yeah, I'm personally thinking that this all-time high here, that all-time high, that's most likely where we are drawing to next. And generally I hold a bullish bias on it until proven otherwise. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. This all high for buy sell liquidity. On the hourly chart, we just traded to this breaker, and here spending some time. This fair value gap, this fair value gap. Yeah, I believe Nasdaq is a little bit smoother on the highs up there. I will check that too very soon, but yeah, that's really the main focus, I believe, still, until proven clearly otherwise. So that's kind of how I see it. But yeah, we are kind of extended into the upside since the overnight session. Asia didn't necessarily move a lot. It was rather consolidated, rather rangy since Asia, but yet it was pushing slightly higher, making short-term highs and running them out. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, even though the daily, I favor higher still. Yeah, or maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't consider scalping shorts. that usually ends poorly at all-time highs. So maybe I should just stick to what I know. But yeah, Nasdaq, the same thing. That alt high seems to be the draw. And Nasdaq has a very nice and smooth pool of buy sell liquidity up there. That's very relative equal. And Nasdaq was actually a little bit calmer in here, not making those higher highs as ES did. So let's see actually, but it looks slightly cleaner for this morning, in my opinion, than ES. It did sweep this high, but only with a wick and only on a very shallow basis. So this level in here kind of stays like as a potential retail resistance level, something to that degree. So I'll be shortly reviewing that better. Yes, that's the buy side that I mentioned on Nasdaq. It's very smooth, relative equal highs up there, which could still act as a potential draw on liquidity on the upside. So that's something that I'm keeping in mind for sure. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I like how smooth, how equal, how flat the highs are here. That will be asking for getting rated on. I think today. Will that be the long open session? We'll see. But if it stays like this, it's really clean. So let me check the MES quickly. And MES has these higher highs altogether. It's also like fine. It's formed those relative equal highs itself here too, which I like. Anyway, but it's maybe not necessarily as pronounced as the Nasdaq today. So let me add the new day opening up for ES. Because the separation in here is so small, I will choose the 414 close, which is here. Yeah, I guess it doesn't make that much of a difference anyway. But yeah, that's what I will go with. Good morning, guys. Hello. Technical question. I don't have the means right now to answer it, but if I will have a look at it, I will. Okay. Right now, I'm trying to figure out my plan, my game plan for this session, and I have 3 minutes left. Well, let's make this a double here. MES on the left, on the 1 minute, and Nasdaq on the right, on the 1 minute for SMT purposes. Comparison. So it's very similar though. It's very similar overall. Besides the fact that this high on Nasdaq is basically still in, but on ES we were expanding above it. All right. Also traded above the daily suspension block. So now it should be, or should act as a discount array instead. Can annotate the suspension block for the Nasdaq in here too, because that will be respectively important as a level, nonetheless. Okay, dollar index consolidating, so not much happening there. Well, where did I annotated the new day opening up? On Nasdaq. I mean on ES, on Nasdaq. I still have to do it here, and I have 1 minute left. So Friday NDOC for Nasdaq is here, and let's compare the separations. All right, so I will go with this one. It's slightly larger. Okay, no real attempt to run down into it. Only up delivery. So it would be lacking downside, but price was reluctant to want to trade down there. Last thing in terms of sell liquidity. Sell liquidity here. And here, and we are starting the 3 a.m. silver bullet for Friday's trading in here for Nasdaq and yes. These were the shenanigans from yesterday. Okay. Okay. MES has also those perfect equal highs in here, and it's showing a little bit of relative strength versus Nasdaq at this moment. When we consider the highs, the ES was able to make some higher highs while Nasdaq was unable to do so. So that's something that suggests the underlying strength on the side of ES. All right, so if we are taking some sell liquidity in here right off the gate. Nice displacement, nice inefficiencies right off the gate too. So that's interesting. That's interesting. On the downside, the only thing that I would like or consider would be this Friday new day opening up near term. If price could be able to drop down into it, but that's tricky. So I suppose I'm sticking to the buy side in here. And fishing for that as my potential setup. Looking for something that could allow me a run into it. I like this as potential inversion for value gap. This is also like the first presented fair value gap for 3 a.m. at 3:01. I like this inefficiency a lot. So hypothetically, just hypothetically, that's something that's an idea, but preferably we would make some lower lows first. So not reversing this right away is alright, I guess. And I think I would need to add like 2 more to preferably be, okay, 3 more to be like possibly done ahead of the with the level like this. So that would be like perfect 1 to 2 with this gearing. And yeah, let's see. I'm not that confident with this one today. Yes, it has those relative equal highs. Yes, it could go there. Yes, I'm technically bullish. Yes, we've taken sell set here. But at the same time, I'm a little bit concerned. So in that case, I'm just not in a rush in engaging this right away. I have my orders prepared just in case, because the action can be quick, and sometimes I cannot not pull every calculation, risk calculation on time. But yeah, let's see, let's watch. If it delivers, then that's great, that's fine. I don't mind if it goes straight away. But yeah, I'm just a little bit cautious, about it here. You know the thing when it looks too good to be true? This is something like this, right? Where's the catch? Where's the catch? But yeah, we'll see. Preferably, I would like to see some like lower lows, like one at least lower low, and like make this one more attempt to try to go lower. That would be preferred, I guess. But yeah. We'll see what we get. We're already spending a little bit too much time inside of it. So that's something that I'm noting. Okay, let's see if we can move outside of it here. Again, we spent a little bit too much time inside of it, thinking that's the first presentation and a high probability inversion after all. That's definitely too much time for my liking, but yeah, we'll see. Hello, Mr. Soul Shift P2P. Long time no see. Glad you're here. Asia low drawn liquidity. It might be. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying anything. I'm just waiting. I'm just watching. I'm not necessarily interested in shorts. That's why I hover a buy limit. Nothing special to it. But yeah, we swept slow here. This is the last inefficiency before running the sell liquidity, and it's a first presentation for the 3 a.m. London Open silver bullet, and we traded into it right away, close above the consecutive encroachment, then spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles inside of it since, and we are not moving outside of it yet, either on the downside or on the upside. This to me is a great indication of just wait, because the conditions might be sneaky this London Open session. This might be looking like it's there, but it might not be there. That's what I'm thinking right now. So I want to be cautious. Yeah, I mean, I'm cycling Nasdaq and ES all the time. I did my analysis on Nasdaq too, but I just think ES is relatively stronger at the moment, and it also has those perfect relative equal highs. So I've chosen this one to be trading on the long side. But yeah, both are looking similarly suspect. And it's Friday, guys. Remember, it's Friday, and we have some news for 10 a.m. That's a medium impact news, but still. And it's at 10 a.m. So the 10 to 11 silver bullet, that lends really well for that being a good one. So that's another reason why not to force the London Open today, because potentially or in theory the AM session for New York Open might be really solid today. There is a good chance for it due to the economic calendar. So unless the price is uber clean and uber obvious for London Open, I'm not necessarily thinking about entering right now. Again, why? Very simple, because we are spending so much time inside of this inefficiency in here. That's like the tell for me to just sit back and watch, because there might be something going on that I'm just not aware of. So in that case, how I would engage a potential bullish inversion fair value gap like this, I wouldn't necessarily be willing to be buying it right away. So after it potentially closes above it, I wouldn't be necessarily interested in buying it right away, just because it spends so much time in here and it's suspect. So therefore I would require that the price would trade outside of it, then come back to it, and then displace higher, right? If that's not happening, then I'm doing nothing, okay? And right away you see what happened. It opened here, traded to the high of this fair value gap, and then smashed lower like this. In a very quick manner, like seconds, couple seconds this took. which is already a little bit suspect. Isn't someone messing around in here? So the risk for manual intervention was just revealed with this candle, in my opinion. This was like the fingertip, the fingerprint of someone messing around with the price right now. That's how I see it. You can see it otherwise, but I'm just telling you what I'm thinking and what I'm doing with that. So yeah. Welcome to the 9 people, by the way. Kudos to you guys. Slowly, but we are growing, and that's amazing. Yeah, and we are back inside this inefficiency. So a lot of work is being done in here, and price is being held. It's literally being held around it, and that's a problem area for high probability. What does the Nasdaq do? Yeah, pretty similar. It has less pronounced first presentation for 3 a.m. ES has better one. Nasdaq looks a little bit fuzzy too. This price action here looks actually really clean as for this time, and yes, all right, so we are making this attempt to trade outside of it on the upside. We just engineered relatively cool lows in here, and we are moving above it. So now technically this should act as bullish inversion fair value gap, and if it does and it tears off and goes for the buy side, then let it be. I will just miss this move then, but I'm suspecting or I'm requiring a little bit more confirmation, so to say, that this upper half of this inversion really respects price as a discount. Plus it's a little bit sus because the range from here to this relatively cool highs, it's kind of small though. It's kind of small. It's 9 handles from here to here, which also makes it a little bit tricky, because what I would like to see now is return to this inversion fair value gap and displacement out of it. Displacement in terms of like forming a fair value gap. That's bullish. Then return to it and then run the buy sell liquidity. But because the range is so tight still, I don't think there's enough of it to offer what I'm looking for. So that's also like something that I'm keeping in mind for this moment. So I'm rather keeping the powder dry. And if it goes, it goes, and you know, that's not the first setup that I missed then. I already missed during these 2 weeks. I already missed a couple of them. And as you can see, I'm still here. I'm still doing reasonably well, I would say. But yeah, Nasdaq is pushing higher too. Also has pretty smooth relative equal highs right here. So it's moving towards that. But again, the range is kind of tight still, even for Nasdaq. And as for now, it's not offering anything for an entry there. Let's see. I'm suspecting that it might bring some trouble and it might bring some difficulties on delivering higher in here. If I'm wrong, obviously. But yeah, that's not necessarily the setup I'm looking for after all, I feel like at this moment. Unless it would make a lower low and clear those relative equal highs first, and then come back above this inversion, then then that's a different story. But right now, these lows are kinda suspect to me. Still waiting for that return into it. I'm very curious to see how it will deliver out of it, whether it will show any respect or just plummet through it. Nasdaq respectively. So yeah, I'm kind of suspecting, or my gut is telling me that this will fail initially as inversion for high gap. I might be wrong, obviously, but that's my gut feeling about it. And it's backed because of the fact of how much time we spend around this area or inside of this inefficiency. What is the dollar index doing? Slightly grinding higher, but inside of a larger consolidation. Nasdaq and yes, I mean both are looking possibly for higher prices. So yeah, maybe that's still a reasonable setup, reasonable idea. So far it wouldn't even come back to it, so that's interesting. That's for sure. A little bit of push higher. Closing above this higher CB in here. Let me annotate that. So now as we close above this, this should be offering sensitivity on the downside, on the discount side. And let's see, I mean, as I said, the range is so small in here, so tight. It could deliver, maybe it could still deliver, but I have this weird feeling that it could also not. So why risking on a setup that's kind of iffy? No reason to do so, I guess. Not especially in London, and especially on a day where later today we'll have high impact, I mean medium impact news for the AM session Silver Bullet. So right away, just by the calendar, that would be the favorite, the favorite for today. Trading. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking right now. It's just not necessarily worth the risk. It's worth watching it. It's worth observing it, seeing whether it will actually deliver or not, and how, and what will be the problem areas. Right. That's still very very good read and experience on it here. But trading wise, it's a little bit unruly. But that's fine, I guess. I guess that's pretty fine. It's fair enough. All right. So far, with this touch to this larger CB, it should be just going higher. If it's good, it should be just very quickly spamming towards the buy sell liquidity here, and that should be it. And that should be it. And best case scenario, that's what it will do in here. But yeah, I'm very curious. I mean, I will not be upset if it goes and it does without me. I will not be upset, but think about it. Today it's Friday, right? It's Friday. This type of setup on Friday, uber suspect. On Tuesday, probably takeable, right? Probably tradeable. But Friday, we'll see. Generally, if it will fail to run those relatively cool highs, if it will fail to run the buy side during this long open Silver Bullet, then I will consider that as a moral victory, or maybe even a true victory. But that's a solid trade because I don't risk anything really on it, and I have upside only, whatever happens. So that's a great spot to be in, especially on Friday. Because whatever I will take today, I will take it into the weekend, and yeah, preferably I would just like to take something that makes really good sense for me, and that I can, something that I can really stand for and be content with taking. But in here, at this, I mean, for this whole time, I would be like, it could just spike lower here. It could deliver higher, yes, but it could not too, and the probabilities are very fuzzy, so to say. So we'll see. So we are still dancing around this high of this larger CB, which now should act as bullish inversion, which means price should not explore the lower half of this inefficiency, because if it does, and then that's right away a red flag basically for the future delivery in here. All right, so right away we are dipping towards the consecutive encroachment, not reached yet, but we are close to it. Let's see. Let's see, already tapping below it. So if it's good, if it's really bullish, if it's going higher, it needs to be defending that lower half very, very, very strongly, and it should follow a push higher afterwards. So far we are just dipping below it and into the lower one, which I guess would be permissible, but still, if I were inside of this trade, or if I would be taking this right now, having those relative equal lows right there would not make me comfortable with it. Nasdaq also made a dive. Let's see. If we take those relative equal lows in here, then I was right. Then I was right. I was correct about not engaging with this price in here. And even though it's not like a monetary reward in terms of like taking a trade, right? But oh man, that will feel very good. So yeah, it's already diving below it here. So yeah, that's exactly what I was being, maybe not afraid of, but that's exactly what I was suspecting that it could happen as an obstacle. So yeah, very, very, very glad that didn't engage in it. So staying strong with the analysis so far this week. Yeah, now those relative equal lows are in close proximity, so they could have been really easily being taken out. Same on Nasdaq. But yeah, that's generally makes this session pretty difficult really to navigate. I'm not saying it's impossible. But it's admittedly harder to really facilitate a very good read and a very good idea of what should you do with it. But yeah, So yeah, I mean, there is this idea that I had earlier too, that if we will engage those radical lows in here first, and we go above this potential bullish inversion for value gap again, then I would trust a little bit more that it's actually a good setup, because we would have this stop run behind us. So if that happens, so if we clear those radical lows and then reclaim this bullish inversion for value gap by closing above it and then returning to it, then that makes way more sense for me to, you know, actually buy it and actually aim for the buy side, because that would basically mean that we already had this manipulation behind us, basically running out the sell side, taking out the liquidity, and at that point those radical highs would be a easy picking, a candy land. But I mean, I don't know if that will happen, but if we take the sell side here and then reclaim that, then I will be strongly considering going long there. So just explaining what I have in mind. So let me also note the lows on both ES and Nasdaq for potential SMT studies on the lows. If you would add the fact that, for example, ES would took those radical lows and Nasdaq would not, that would be additional fuel behind it, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't want to see it left like this and reclaim it. Yes, it could maybe still work, but that's not the preferred setup for myself. I would like to see the rate on liquidity first, the manipulation, and then that would allow, in my opinion, for better odds of this potential long working out. And that's basically what I would look for a setup at this moment, or at this time of what we see. So right now I'll be just checking whether the criteria is met or not, and I will just keep it as simple as that. So yeah, again, either it offers me exactly what I want, what I demand from the price, or I'm pretty comfortable to skip the London and go to the AM session for and look for a setup there. That's like the state and the position that I'm in right now. It's 3:39 at this moment, so still a little bit more time to go. I want to also take your attention to when this rundown started and what is the time that I'm telling you almost every London Open session that is important for the London Open silver bullet. And yes, it's the 3:30. That's exactly when this run lower started. So yeah, that's nice to see. Still, two smooth radical lows, triple lows in here. Very, very, very nice engineered pool of sell side liquidity that could be taken out here first. Then if we reclaim, then I'm bullish, or more bullish, more confident in bullish. Okay, I'm bullish all the time, but then I'm I'm possibly interested in something. So yeah, let's see if that will be the case or not. So far it looks pretty reluctant to run that sells a liquidity, which I don't like to see, because that might be still someone holding the price manually, which that's never favorable. And yeah, generally, if you can see that they are manipulating the price by hand, and you can see that in price in certain areas where normally price would do something, but for some reason it's not doing it. For some reason it's just stalling. For some reason it should go to clear the sell side out, but for some reason it didn't. And these are those very little hints that obviously someone new will not pay attention. Someone not versed will not be aware of those things for a long time. But generally, if I can spot that it's a little bit messy, a little bit suspect in terms of the delivery, suspect in terms of likelihood of potential manual intervention happening, due to the fact that they are messing around with the price, and you never know what they intend to do, then usually it's better to just stay out and leave the table, go grab some food, some drink, and come back, I don't know, 15 minutes later, an hour later, and if it's good by then you are free to continue your work. But yeah, why I will not take this, even though it closed above it as I wanted to see, but it didn't took out the sell side here. It didn't took out the sell side here, and that was the criteria that I was looking for, pretty much, to unlock a potential long from here to the buy side. Because it didn't do that, I'm not gonna take it unless it goes for the sell side first and then goes back above it. But we are running low on time, so they would need to speed up a little bit, if that's the case. But if it's not, then you know the drill. I'm fine either way. And we'll just have another stream during the morning session for the New York. By the way, guys, I'm still looking for feedback on how you guys enjoy the series. Is it fun to watch? Is it enjoyable? I'm trying to make it as enjoyable as I can. But yeah, sometimes I gotta wait. Sometimes I gotta do nothing. And I know that's many times not something that you want to watch. Me doing nothing, but Yeah, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you. That's great to hear. Nice, nice, nice. Thanks for this comment. That's really appreciated, Candy. That's really nice. And you're welcome. No problem. I'm here for you guys. And for the banter. And after all, we are making history too, right? So imagine if we made it. Imagine if we made it. Imagine, just imagine. Then I guess everyone from the OG crew would need to get a piece of the cake too, right? But yeah, it's a fun series for me too. By the way, I like doing it. I have a lot of fun with doing it. Obviously, it takes some work showing up on time every day, sometimes a few times a day. But yet, it yields uh, a lot of a return on the time investment on my side too. And yeah. All right, so we traded above this potential bullish inversion for value gap here, trade down into it, and we respected the consecutive encroachment very well. Price stopped exactly at it, and now we left it. So I assume that if it's good, if they are not messing around with it anymore, then it should be going for the buy set here, or it could be, at least it could be. And yeah, I'm personally not interested in it. Why? Because it left those triple ratifical lows that I would prefer to see a run on those here. If it did that run on the sell side there, I would be going long in here, but because it didn't, then it has still a little bit of uncertainty that I just don't want to take. And yeah, if it goes, fine. If it doesn't, even better. So that's the state of mind. That's the state of things that I'm currently in. So heading into the macro 350 to 410, it could just be keep on going and attacking the buy set here because it's too clean, too obvious, and we spent some time tricking people that is maybe going lower. So we'll see, but it should not post a body close in the lower half. If it does, that's not good. Straight away, that's not good. So as long as it doesn't do that, I'm watching for it potentially head higher, but that's not something I want to participate in. And yeah, I guess I explained why I think so. So also like thinking in terms of, we opened at 3 a.m. on this candle here. We moved a little bit lower, took some short-term sell side here, retraced all the way back to the same opening price, and then just meander around, basically consolidate. Not much happened at all. And we left relative equal lows that are omega clean in here. So, and we have very clean equal highs on the upside either, right? So it's kind of 50-50 scenario, basically. And we are in the middle of the range. So yeah. So I guess I'm very glad and very blessed that I'm able to, or I was able to foresee problem areas for today's session that could have easily put me on the wrong side of the marketplace, or even on the right side, but still getting stopped. So you know the drill. I traded to this small little volume imbalance right there with a down candle, which is a potential bullish order block, and it reacted initially slightly. So that's I mean, it should be just reaping higher if it's good. Hello, Mr. Trader P1. Hello. By the way, Mr. Keep Courier Simon, Mr. Simon, that will be easier. Are you still here? Because you got a question at the beginning that I didn't answer because I was a little bit busy. But right now, if you are here, I can go go about it, but you have to tell me which asset are you referring to, Nasdaq or ES, and we can make a little bit of a case there. But just let me know in chat if you are still here and which asset you are referring to. How do I find the draw? Yeah, I mean, I guess like that's a little bit tough of a question to answer, because yeah, I mean, the simple answer is I'm just aiming for liquidity, right? Because that's where price is most likely gonna go, and or inefficiency in some cases, but usually liquidity. Let's make it simple. But then the question is, how do you know which one to choose, right? Because we have relative equal highs, we have relative equal lows and stuff like this, and how do you know which one? And that's a question that's the answer is also simple, but maybe not something that you want to hear, but experience. That's all I can say. I'm doing this for 9 years at this time. 9 years. 9 years really putting a lot of hours into it. So I do have, I mean, my experience level is a little bit higher, I would say, than a new trader, and that's the main difference on how I can, not always, but many times, find the correct draw for the time being, right? It's experience. That's the X factor. And that's how I'd answer that. But yeah, generally you want to be looking for liquidity. That's near term. That's obvious. That's close to the price. For example, not only close to the price, but the close to the price is likely to get tagged more times than not, and you just train yourself. You just look at the charts. You think, okay, I think it's gonna go for the old high, and then you study. Does it go there? Doesn't it go there? What it does, how it does, and stuff like this. And over time, after weeks, months, years of doing it, you will just know. You will just know. But yeah, there is no like 1, 2, 3 answer to how. That's like the best answer I can give you at this moment. But yeah, price returned back into this inversion here, tapped it only for a week and then rejected higher, so it should never ever come back to it again. It should just go higher if it's good. And that should be it. And really, if it would take those radical lows here first, then I would have been in it and we would already be above the buy side. That's what it would be. But because they are messing around with it a little bit here during the London, then hopefully that's a good start for the AM session being really good. So in this chart we have radical lows and radical highs. So why do you think it will go to the highs? That's a very good question. That's a very good question, my friend, and that's the last one I will answer. So because we have radical highs and radical lows, I said that it's 50-50. It could go for either one. That's why I'm not in a trade. But because my higher time frame daily chart bias is supposedly still bullish, I want to favor radical highs as a draw on liquidity. Not sure if you get what I'm saying, but that's basically in the layman's term what it is. All right. So we are basically hitting the 4 a.m. in here, and that's it for the London Open. I didn't took a trade. I couldn't really find anything worth taking the risk. And yeah, I think that's going to be it. Nonetheless, I will be back for the morning session for the New York Open, 10 to 11 a.m. New York time, and we'll see what we get there. So see you guys later. Until then, have a nice one.